Hello, my name is Derek Dixon. For our research seminar project, I decided to discuss and look further through student athletes and academic success. Do students strive to be greater and go for greatness when it comes to studies within school, or do they just get by in the classroom? Throughout this presentation, I will further showcase the purpose behind my research, debating studies and information and different questions brought about student athletes and their studies in the classroom. Think to yourself, have you ever participated in a sport while being in school? Do you find it hard to keep up with your studies and feel overwhelmed to accomplish an assignment while being overwhelmed by sports schedules? Playing a sport is a privilege, not a right. Many people often overlook this realization. You can be an all-star athlete on the field and on the team, but if your grades don't reflect the performance on the field, you're probably not going to play as much or little to none. To better get an understanding whether or not student athletes strive for success or slack when it comes to academics, let's look over the stereotypes of student athletes and what is often perceived by them. Involving yourself in sports can bring you great attention to your life and to your school environment. You can make memorable plays and everyone will be chanting for you, saying congratulations. We are often looked up to and are influenced on others and people of all kinds. Then there is the opposing side of student athletes. For example, student athletes get full scholarships just to play a sport. What does society think about that? Are they proud of them? Or are they just getting by academically? Then there's the opposing side of student athletes. For example, a student athlete gets a full scholarship just to play a sport. How does society feel about that? Are they proud of them? Or are they just getting by academically? Is their only purpose athletics and not academics? After reading the article Division III Student Athlete, Academic Performance, Campus Involvement, and Growth by Richard and Aries, they stated college athletes are believed to be less academically able. I myself participate in athletic sports and can see viewpoints of some student athletes being successful while others just shy of the achievement of not doing well in class. There are many factors that can be determined whether or not a student will do good or not. Factors will be choice of major, easier courses, less intense workload, more challenging courses, workload, and busier schedule. Richards and Aries also stated that student athletes have circumvented the academic system by taking easier courses and choosing easier majors. For example, students who are in the medical field may have longer hours of studying in labs opposed to students who are in the business field who won't have much intense activity going on. Then I read about a study from a professor in the Stanford Graduate School of Education stated the academic stigma associated with being a student athlete can lead to underperformance in the classroom. While many students may ignore stereotypes, there are some that could possibly believe what others feel about them and perform in that way. Now that we've discussed the overall stereotypes of student athletes, let's take a look at how students perform in the classroom. We can say everyone will be 100% successful while in school. We all struggle in different areas. Classroom work overload can be quite hard on some people. There are many things to keep organized and to keep you on the right track. On page 8, you can see the table I've created, the research paper that shows different types of questions asked by multiple student athletes, questions in regard to playing a sport in their schooling at the University of Southern Mississippi. I asked a series of questions regarding playing and participating in sports, and also some academic questions that goes along with that. During this study, I asked 10 different student athletes how they felt, whether that be yes or no, and a chart that shows the results. I'll briefly go over the chart with you, but you can see studies that I created to show different viewpoints and responses. My first question was, do you feel pressure in being a student athlete and maintaining certain grades? 8 of the people I asked said yes. The stress and pressure comes from all types of directions. My second question was, do you find it difficult with courses that you are taking currently? Half of them students I asked said yes, while the other half said no. Balancing athletics and academics. College have also been cited as a major reason for dropouts in both sports and school. The pressure can sometimes be overwhelming and get to the best of people, they often lose sight of what truly makes them happy in sports or just in school. Although some get overwhelmed, there are many things that, many situations and many ways to get through things like this. Being properly organized can save you a lot of time and can help you with avoiding any stress. Proper help from your school and academic advisors, counselors. There are a lot of people to assist you. Classroom can be very overwhelming at times. No more greater pressure than having NCAA watching over you. NCAA are there to help run things, sporting program, to help run the sporting program within college sports, but also keep student athletes on track with their education. Others find it impactful meaning in why the standards and regulations playing sports goes hand in hand in having good grades. Future careers within the professional sports is rare, but it's possible. This is having an education key and something to fall back on if sports doesn't go the way you thought it would. What the NCAA is trying to say, the potential students who want to take on a college sport and make it happen within school also. Scholarships are great. They're a positive reinforcement for the hard work that student athletes put themselves through. The academics got them the reward and having them play that sport. I'll be telling you some requirements that the NCAA upholds for the student athlete to participate in athletics and to even get into the school. GPAs must be as standard protocol. I would think a 2.5 is what students should have in order to get into the school and get a full ride scholarship, and the SATs must reflect to that as well. Although this sounds quite strict, it holds the potential student athletes up to par and up to a higher ranking, and they should expect responsibility for what they do. Let's now take a look into the universities and how others take a role into these student athletes and into their academic success. According to the article of The Atlantic, I read a quote that states, universities today are specializing athletes to the point to where they are essentially running professional teams. That being said, what is the schools, or should I say, what is the athletic department's first priority? These are some questions that arise when it comes to athletic department, whether it's the well-being of the student's education or the performance that athlete can perform on the field, or what kind of athletic ability that student has. There has to be a line of trust here. It is hard to say whether or not that people will obey the education coming first, but it's something that has to be done. But the NCAA did say there is no ability to enforce whether or not that private institutions is actually capable of providing their student athletes with the education that they're supposed to have to be their compensation for playing their sport. This is very contradicting, and many will often ask, what is the purpose, while some will take advantage. This then affects the student athletes. Many student athletes look up to those above them, and if they notice that their coaches or staff are taking great interest in education, daily life, then they won't take it to interest either. While there's issues in institutions not taking serious interest in student athletes, while there are many issues amongst these coaches, a handful of coaches that take this very, very serious and take pride in doing well on the field. For example, I had a situation where I played with a student athlete, and he was an all-star, projected to go to a real big school, wasn't able to finish a project in time, and one of my coaches had academically suspended him and he wasn't able to play, which we needed that person. A prime example of just showing that education comes first and does matter. Let's now look on the positive reinforcements that occur when student athletes. A lot of us can say that get motivated, positive reinforcement. I know I do. It shows that we're recognized for our hard work and the amount of time we put into our work. It also shows that we're doing the right thing, head straight in our academics first. Negative reinforcements occur when students don't perform well. They're used to not succeeding. They often brush off the failing grade and don't do anything to improve or to help them in the long run. They don't learn from their mistakes. Not only will negative reinforcements affect the student athlete, but possibly being eliminated from the game and often affect others around your team. It doesn't make the team any better. Ultimately, you can end up even getting kicked out of school, not doing what you're supposed to do in school. Many have said there are numerous of student athletes who aren't prepared for college. College is a a whole nother step, a whole nother level from high school, charter, much more time consuming. This then sets up students for failure. Student athletes can play a huge role in their academic success, but another main factor would be how some of these students are mistreated. All sporting activities within college athletics are required a maximum of 20 hours a week spending with their team and watching film. Anything that exceeds this is violating the rules of the NCAA and can be a bad thing for the school. Another article I read involved a student that was being recruited into a prep school. His abilities within basketball, but the prep school cared none about his education, basically sold him a dream. These students had no education at all, were being neglected by the people who swore they'd take care of them and get them to the next level, which would be professional basketball. Another topic that arises and questions that are asked is whether or not student athletes are more successful on scholarship, or if students with no scholarship are more successful. Students who pay tuition, boarding, and other things like that are more likely to do well in school because they feel as though they get their money's worth. Those that are on scholarship will also do well. They're being handed a free scholarship opportunity, which is a blessing. Studies have shown that students who have received academic and sports scholarships do work hard in their education. Now that we can discuss the different for and opposing views of student athletes and their academic success, we finally can look into the post-college and where they are now. The overall goal for college is obviously provide education for students and set them up to be successful in the long term, have a great career for the future. They have also said that they need to make sure that you identify what you are passionate for and then your sport. Having a backup plan is the key. Student athletes are built with great strength, determination, and dedication, and also have the drive to be the best in school and in athletic. In college, these students are recruited to play for the best school and to continue to be successful for their team and with the sport and any sport that they play. Sports, their number one, or is completing college more important? I hope the studies that I've conducted and the research helps everyone have a better understanding on whether student athletes strive more to be successful academically or just choose the sport as their main priority. Many factors that can play a role in how things go with student athletes. We all hope that everyone, student athletes and all, achieve the most in the fields, not only on the field, but in the classroom as well, and any task that they take in life.